Whipping Wing by Vernon. Chapter 6.
I hate these guys.
The common room of Pennywise's Inn was every bit as dark and smoky as it had been when Indiana Jones had rushed through a short while before. The only real difference was the size of the audience, the degree of the archaeologist and his canine shadow, as the two stepped through the door. Apparently, most of the inn's patrons from the night before had awoken early, and were already breaking their fast. Some sat silently, eyes focused on the meals before them. Others were slightly more active, their heads bent in quiet conversation with their fellow travelers. A general feeling of "sweet Celestia, it's too early" hovered over the room like a heavy, depressing cloud. Heading straight for the unattended counter of the bar, Indiana banged his fist on the long, unpolished wood until someone called, "Just a minute!" The shepherd cream pony who had been at the bar earlier that morning cantered out from the kitchen, trying to balance a tray and several steaming bowls of porridge on her back. As he rounded the corner, the tray started to slide. The pony groaned and desperately tried to compensate. Indiana raised to steady the load, turned his head back as a glowing silver field snapped over the entire tree. "Thank you," squeaked the wary mare, standing still for a moment to catch her breath. Silver Trowel laid the tray again, steady on her back. Smiling indulgently, the unicorn nodded, and deftly levitated one of the bowls of greatest porridge onto the bar in front of him. "No thanks all needed, my dear, but then I hope that my breakfast is delayed even further. No offense meant. I'm really sorry, sir. We're a bit stressed out this morning," the mare explained, her ears drooping apologetically.
Where's that red Pegasus? Where's Starfire?
Indiana demanded. "In bed, I think. He can't work today, at a time like this," wailed the overworked pony. She saw Flint an orange-eyed glare as she added, "Something about an injured wing and not being able to move very well." "Oh dear," sighed Silver Trowel, as the inn's frazzled employee hurried out to serve other customers. "Oh, that's unfortunate. I was hoping for his help again in repacking my things."
Yeah, that's too bad. Have a safe trip anyway.
Dr. Jones replied dismissively. He had bigger things on his mind than the doings of a somewhat lost pony archaeologist. The green unicorn looked to put out for a moment. Let's try to turn his back to his porridge. He pried it with a floating spoon, barely disguising a look of faint distaste, as the liquid seemed to shine from the dropping utensil. Indy turned to Flint.
Alright, Flint. Where's Starfire's room?
Starfire room inside building near North Wall. Why?
Queried the Diamond Dog, with head caught to one side in puzzlement. But Indiana was already up and headed back out the door.
Hey, wait for Flint! Why not get breakfast?
When the door slammed behind the two, and they were on their way across the gravel courtyard once again, Indiana glanced over his shoulder.
Flint, what do you know about Starfire?
Starfire a mule.
Flint ground.
He's the worst. Always kick Flint when Flint's scrubbing floor in. No offense.
None taken.
Flint, I think you might have stolen the Medallion of Shadow.
Interrupted the archaeologist, before Flint went off on another rambling tangent. The Diamond Dog gaped.
Medallion Stallion? No.
I just told you that 15 minutes ago,
replied Indy.
Oh, right. Flint got distracted.
Floppy ears drooping, Flint hung his head. After a moment, he brightened.
Well, that explains why Starfire and Russ earlier.
Grabbing the door to what was supposedly being Starfire's home, Indiana turned back to Flint.
So which room is... Wait, what? Who was there with us?
Starfire and Russ hurried out and gate before Indiana talked to Flint.
Flint spoke slowly.
Hey, wait, Indiana! Where's Indiana going?
It was entirely possible that Starfire hadn't taken the artifact. Maybe the Pegasus pony had been in Indiana's room for entirely honest reasons that had nothing to do with the missing Medallion of Shadow. For that matter, maybe Starfire didn't have anything to do with the snake Flint had eaten. Speaking of snakes, and maybe it was just a coincidence that there were supposedly snake cultists to the north of the inn, in the direction of the temple Indy had escaped when he came earlier. Maybe Dr. Jones had hurried to hell up and get after the winged thief before it was too late and the medallion was lost once again. On the bright side, Dr. Jones didn't have to worry about Starfire getting too far ahead. Wendy winced with the memory of the Pegasus' bones popping out of place during the fight with the darkened room. That would slow the pony down a bit. The archaeologist remembered the time he had injured his own wing in that crash a few years back. He had been forced to go on hoof for a few days. That had been awful. But at least in this case it was some pony else. And Starfire's grounding would give him a chance to... What was that again? Shaking the strains and alien thoughts out of his head, Indy turned to Flint.
Flint, we got a Pegasus to track down. How good is your nose?
Not waiting for an answer, Indiana set his jaw determinedly and strode quietly out of the gate. He was going to catch up with Starfire and get back to Medallion of Shadow if it killed him. Lumping aside the human, Flynn grinned toothily.
Oh, Indiana want Flint to find Starfire? Not easy. Flint knows Starfire stink anywhere. Ha!
Good. Then go get him,
Indy ordered. The smiling diamond dog hurried to comply, going to all fours and sniffing the ground. An instant later, his ears perked up and he barked out,
This way, Indiana, not worry. Flint has best nose of any pony at Pennywise's Inn.
Here, Flint, I bet you do,
Indiana said, trailing as he looked up. Flint took a few more steps and glanced back at Indiana Jones. The archaeologist was still standing in the inn's open gate, looking at the mountain so beyond the excited diamond dog. Flint's wagging tail slowed.
Indiana coming? Flint finds Starfire extra quick.
No need, kid.
Indiana pointed. At the top of the ridge line was the small shape of a Pegasus pony, one wing bound tightly to his side with bandages. Starfire glared down at the archaeologist's keen-eyed companion.
Wow, Flint knows better than Diamond Dog's that,
commented the diamond dog.
Starfire found. No trouble at all.
Yeah.
The archaeologist agreed half-heartedly, with a wave of green-robed cultists poured over the ridge and towards the inn.
No trouble at all.
Daring? Daring do? Brooks's voice tickled Daring's ears, raising her out of a fitful sleep. Judging by the wan and grayish light filtering down from the sky, it was near what passed for dusk here in the Hindu Kush. That meant the Pegasus had been asleep for a better part of an hour.
Huh?
Sitting up quickly, Daring waved her forehead as he tried to straighten her pet helmet with fingers he didn't have. Ugh. Another one of those weird dreams. Something about sitting in an office and grading papers endlessly? The corners of the adventurer's mouth curled in disgust. Yeek. She never enjoyed scholarly pursuits, even at the best of times. And now she was having nightmares about being a teacher. The bone-shaking vibration of the truck's engine was gone. The basso rumbled no longer to dull Daring Do back to sleep. They must have stopped. Finding back at yawn, the treasure hunter peered over and tried to orient herself. Are we there? Is this Casaba? No, we're not there yet. We're still a few miles away from town, replied the cartographer. The truck was parked on the precariously narrow road winding through the mountains. Here, the rushing river alongside the track had cut deeply into the earth. Its foaming, frothy surface churned far below. An empty gulf yawned on one side of the road, promising a long fall for the vehicle and its unfortunate passengers if Brooks' steering was anything less than perfect. Why have you stopped? Following her seatbelt until she managed to unbuckle it, Daring climbed back to all fours and stretched. The gold-pelted mare flared her wings and fluttered slightly to flex sleep-numb muscles. The truck's seat had been surprisingly comfortable in comparison to lying on the rocky ground. The sitting upright had left her with an awful crick in her back, and had put one of her wings to sleep. The cartographer leaned his head out the window and looked up at the valley for a moment. Brooks nodded and turned back to Daring. I think we're far away now from our Barrett Road friends now. Time for you to get into the back of the truck. Daring blinked. What? Why? I don't want to attract any more attention than we need. A Pegasus is not exactly a usual sight. Brooks explained with a chuckle. The villagers might not react well. Frowning, Daring thought back to the treatments he received so far. What? You mean the way everybody but you has tried to kill me? Not so extreme, I think. But better safe than sorry. I'll let you know when we get to the airport. It'll be dark by then, so I think we'll be able to sneak you into the plane, no problem. With that, Mr. Brooks slid out of the driver's seat and walked around to the canvas-covered bed of the truck. Look, that's another thing. Why are we going to Casaba again? Called Daring Do, hopping out of the cab and following the cartographer to the back of the vehicle.
We've got you away from that Jägermeister guy. As far as I'm concerned, we can go home.
Terry trailed off her words, turning to ask her mouth. An ancient artifact was in her hooves, and she'd be shown to villains once again, as he was not Pegasus to be taken lightly. Sure, it was the wrong artifact and a new different set of villains, but still. This is usually the point of an adventure, where she would fly off into the sunset, make her way back to Canterlot, deposit her lady's find into royal files for safekeeping, and maybe spend a week or two lowering over to more secondary acquaintances in Canterlot or Cloudsdale, before flying out to do the whole thing all over again. But now, where would Daring go? Back to the strange martial correlates in the United States? Two alien places increasingly prominent in the confusing swirls of her unwanted extra memories? The treasure hunter sagged. Adventuring was fun, but normally there was certain knowledge he had a home to go back to, albeit once he wasn't going to spend much time. Kneeling down, Brooks rested a hand on the distressed Pegasus leathers. Daring, I can't even imagine what it must be like for you right now. But it's important to keep this artifact away from Hans Jagermeister and his ilk. I promise we'll find a way to get you home, but first we need to get out of this country entirely and back to the city in the States.
All right,
sighed Daring Do. It's like he had a better plan at the moment anyway. Might even be interesting. Ever since he took to betraying Terra Incognita. Wasn't that what he liked about to get out of her adventures anyway? Brooks stood up again and looked at the canvas flap leading to the truck's covered bed. The Pegasus flitted up and lighted inside. When the human chuckled, Daring speared him with an annoyed look.
What? Don't think I'm all sloppy just because I was thinking about things for a minute there.
Wouldn't dream of it, the cartographer said, laughing again. I was just thinking. I wonder if sending you home will bring Indy back to us. That would almost be too bad. Daring's caught in puzzlement.
Really? I thought you two were friends.
I said I don't want Dr. Jones back. But I must say, you're a lot more interesting to be around than he ever was. The human confessed with a grin. Daring grunted unexpectedly, so how was he supposed to take that? When Brooks closed the flap, the Pegasus settled down and tried to get comfortable. The truck roared back to life, and soon it was rolling down the road, jolting the grumbling mare with every unseen rock or pothole. The texture of the sound outside changed, and bone-jarring bounces became fewer in number as the truck entered what must have been Casaba. Daring's ears perked up as she listened to the sounds of normal life going on around her. She could visualize it all. The blocking mud rock buildings, the little cults of fillies laughing and playing with the cool showers of the evening. The older stallions sitting side by side of the road, watching the world go by as they waited for their wives or daughters-in-law to finish preparing dinner. It's hard to believe she wasn't back in the borderlands of Equestria, at least until she peered out from the small cab's truck and spied the humans going about their evening activities, just like the ponies in her mind's eye. Abruptly, the truck stopped. Daring climbed back to her host and flicked road dust off her utility shirt and out of her mane. What's going on out there? Straining to hear, the mare moved quickly over into their hole in the canvas. Night was coming rapidly. It was a struggle for the Pegasus' dark pink eyes to see what little light remained. She briefly caught the outline of oddly synced helmets. Daring could hear Brooks' nervous voice as he conversed with somebody else. She also caught a smattering of harsh, gruntled language as he quickly come to associate with gunfire. Everything pointed to one conclusion.
Nazis. I hate these guys.
Chapter 7. Taking Flight. Richard Brooks gleaned the German soldier, who seemed to be in charge of the improvised roadblock. Pursued from behind, the cartographer had expected, especially in the form of Jägermeister's unpleasant and undisciplined military rabble. But uniformed, well-armed reinforcements? Also roadblock soldiers? This was a nasty surprise. Buck's veneer of innocent annoyance and having his truck stop was quickly flaking off to reveal a base of very real anxiety as he snapped, "Look, I don't know what you're insinuating, Sergeant. Half of the trucks in the mountains look like this one. I brought this thing to Yababad 3 months ago."
"And I'm sure you have your papers to prove it, Herr Smith."
Mouthing the false name Richard Brooks had given him, the German flag driver looked unconvinced. Eric metallic shape with a sergeant's submachine gun dangled casually from a strap over his shoulder. It was abundantly clear that the weapon could be brought up to turn the truck and its driver into a Swiss cheese at a moment's notice. Sergeant, how long have you been in the islands of Central Asia? There's basically no government here. Richard fired back, desperately interventing as he went. The Germans had caught him flat-footed, stepping on the side alleys, loving their weapons like him like that. But, for once, fast talk seemed like it might be able to do the job. Just got here today? I thought so. It's a good day you're actually using actual currency to pay for things. Getting a receipt and registration paperwork? Ha! This isn't the Reich or the United States. The fighter hesitated. Well, I mean, take this old girl. Bruce leaned out of the window of the cab, laying the side of the truck. Cost me 5 sheep. 5! Still, she served me well so far. Shrugging, the German said, Well, my heir, I cannot disprove your story. It was working. Bruce grinned. All right, then. So let me search your truck now. Please stay where you are and keep your hands on your head. The firebrand finished. He gestured to his men. Another soldier with a submachine gun approached and raised his snub-nosed barrel until it was pointing at Bruce's head. The German sergeant simply smiled and kept his weapon at his side. What? You've got no right, no jurisdiction. This is my truck, and we're not in Germany. Brooks protested desperately. He could already imagine the hail of gunfire ripping through the canvas under the cover of the truck as the Germans found daring do. Oh, Herr Smith, we have all the right we need, right here, the checkpoint's firefighter said as he gave his weapon an affectionate pat. Brooks had to stop this before it was too late. Reaching into his pocket, the worried man slowly withdrew the heavy weight of his revolver. If he was lucky, he might be able to shoot through the thin metal of the cab and kill the guard aiming at him before the German fired. The sergeant would be next if all went well. And after that, who could plan? Trying to keep his voice level, or at least filled with righteous indignation rather than anxiety, Richard said, Look, Five-Bible, you don't need to do this. Surely your men are tired. Thirsty? Perhaps I can help. Perhaps, after we check your truck. The German agreed stubbornly. Something thumped against the truck's cab's metal roof above Brooks's head. But the sounds were easily muffled by annoyed shouts and the workbox soldiers trying to work the rusted fasteners of the truck's tailgate. The German sergeant glanced to the rear of the truck. What haben Sie vorgesehen?
Nein, nix!
One of the soldiers yelled back.
Das Fenster ist leer! Herr Feigweb!
Brooks allowed himself to breathe again, and slowly slid the pistol back into his pocket. Somehow, the Germans hadn't found the hidden Pegasus pony. He held daring might have been mistaken for a dog, or some other normal creature in the poor light of the evening. But nothing. Where was she?
You're quite upset for a man with absolutely
Nothing to hide.
Herr Smith,
The Five-Eyes said to Richard with an accusing glare.
We Americans value our privacy.
Brooks retorted with as much calm as he could manage.
Can I go now? I have to get to the airfield sometime tonight.
Making a disgusted noise, the German sergeant nodded once and turned to his men. A few barked out orders were sufficient to clear the obstructions. Soon Richard Brooks and the stolen truck was once again rolling slowly down the road towards the airfield. He felt relieved, although he wasn't sure where he should be. Where had Daring Do gone? The flicker of movement in the corner of the cartographer's eye made him turn his head.
What the?
Daring Do's outside-down face grinned at Brooks through the open window of the passenger side door. Using the roof that was holding onto her pinhalf of it, Daring Do cocked her head horizontally as the tip of her hat and winked, and ducked back out of sight. The roof of the truck cab thumped again as the adventurer took to the air. In a moment, she had managed to chamber through the window and onto the truck itself.
Phew! Close one. So, what do they want?
Brooks gave for a moment, at least until his face forgot a smile. You never cease to amaze me, Miss Dew.
Yeah, well, I am pretty awesome.
Daring Do commented, waving a hoof dismissively. Human and Pony shared a laugh for a moment, but finally Daring Do speared Brooks with a questioning gaze and repeated,
So, what do they want?
Richard Brooks drove in silence for a moment, before finally answering Daring's question. I'm not sure. The German sergeant seemed like he was looking for something. I don't know what, though. Hopefully not us. Daring glanced out the truck's window. The full moon was just beginning to peek over the cliffs, its silvery light providing a barely adequate illumination that seemed entirely outclassed by the yellow beams of the truck's headlights. The night before, Daring Do had been uneasy with the alien globe. The way the shining disk was missing the usual unicorn head-shaped blots. It seemed to be less shocking now. The mare shifted uncomfortably. The light halo of the light in the darkness grabbed Dark Daring's attention. Perhaps she ceased on its way to avoid thinking further on her spotted memories. She stared at the globe for a moment, watching as it resolved into a wide, flat expanse nestled between the steep slopes of surrounding hills. That's the place? That's the airfield, Richard confirmed, downshifting as he slowed the truck. There's our cargo plane leaving soon. We should be on, and we're going to be on it. A plane? Daring asked. A bit. Physics poured into the adventurer's mind and filled it with big, straight-winged contraptions. She shuddered. The sheer idea of an adult Pegasus flying, not under her own power, made Daring Do a bit queasy. Why hadn't she been on a plane since? Groaned the gold-plated mare as she pushed her head with both forehoofs, trying to banish the foreign thoughts. Bruce glanced at his partner and massaged her temples for a moment. Putting the vehicle into park, he patted the moaning Pegasus pony. Daring Do, are you all right? I'll be fine, Daring said, sounding far more confident than she felt. She stared out at the airfield under the buzzing electric floodlights, fighting against the bewildering deja vu. It was all like she remembered it. The long, pipe-dark expanse of what was probably the only significant flatland for 100 miles in any direction. The small collection of fuel tanks clustered about the half-gray cylinder of crunculated steel that served as a hangar and generator shelter as well as being an airport. The flat-sided, turreted cargo aircraft already warming up its engines on the runway. The Pegasus could remember climbing out of an aircraft just like that several days before. Yet, she'd never seen a plane before this instant. Lost in thoughts that were not her own, Daring Do jumped when the driver's side door opened. Professor Brooks hopped out. He gave her a grin as she tried to return. I'll be right back after I book us a ride. Smile, Daring. We made it. Yeah. Daring grunted. Watching the man hurry from the truck to the coagulated shelter gave the Pegasus something to occupy herself, other than wondering what was happening to her mind. That seemed to be distracting her well enough. But soon, Brooks was inside the building and gone from view. When some point climbed out of the aircraft, idling on the runway, Daring switched to watching him. The goggled, leather-clad crewman strode nonchalantly over to the fence near the gate. Wait. Goggles? Leather-clad? Plane? Oh my god, it's James P. Bigglesworth! He's come to help us all! You want to be a hero! Hero! You see, if I have any British fans or Diamanda Hagen fans in the audience, you guys are probably bro-hoofing me right now. A reasonable distance from both his plane and the airfield filled Sora's tanks. When he cupped his hands together, orange light flared, as soon as puffing smoke contentedly. Well, that was good. I was almost worrying how many pilots smoked right next to their... The adventurer broke off the train of thought with a groan, rubbing her head again as if they would help drive the strange memories away. Daring Do's mind sparked and was swirled with sights never seen, but now recalled. Daring Do's mind sparked and swirled with sights he'd never seen, but now recalled. Words he never said. Ponies, maybe they're people, were both complete strangers to Daring and him and to their friends, to Indiana Jones. These new memories sat side by side with the Pegasus pony's normal ones, lying in ambush in her mind, and waiting to jump with her surprise her with eerie familiarity. Slipping off her pith helmet, the adventurer stared at the shining half-circle of the Medallion of Light. Was this artifact doing this to her? Was it a side effect of whatever brought her here? Was it... Up back! Let's go! Cried Brooks, half out of breath from running in the thin mountain air. Glad of the interruption, Daring slid the Medallion of Light into her pith helmet, and flipped the helmet back into place on top of her head, and hurried to follow the cartographer as she rushed across the back door of the airfield. Mr. Brooks and Daring Do climbed into the aircraft through the cargo door. The interior of the plane was austere as the exterior, lined with strapped-down crates and only narrow corridor for the crew and its passengers. The two climbed forward to the cockpit and created the open spot that would be the passenger area for the flight. The co-pilot stayed hunched over the controls for a moment, monitoring the ensign's power output. Finally satisfied, he nodded and turned to greet to the aircraft's latest edition of the cargo manifest. His eyes widened as he caught sight of Daring Do. The droniness of the plane's engines was absolutely deafening, but still wasn't loud enough to drown out the co-pilot's excited sight of, "What is that?"
Who cares? Let's go before they get here!
Brooks yelled back, pointing across the airfield to the fence. Several trucks were screeching to a halt in the airfield's fence line, almost before the truck's forward momentum stopped. The ground around them was covered with armed men. The vehicles, now parked at the edge of the airfield's lights, were familiar, and so were the men. Alongside the purposely moving forms of the well-mocked soldiers were the milling rabble of the brown-robed mercs. And there, at the edge of the group, was the tall, black-coated shape of Hans Jägermeister. He was looking right at the airplane, his eyes almost seemingly to glow in triumph. The goggled crewman shook his head emphatically.
We're not going anywhere without Jerry. You still haven't answered my question. What the hell is that thing?
On the fence line, Jerry finished his cigarette and stomped out the smoking butt. It was time to go. The pilot had been around the Hindu Kuch for long enough to know when something exciting was about to happen. What sort of things would prompt quick exit. This was one of those. He turned to go, and found himself staring down the business end of a rifle. The mercenary at the other end smiled, and nodded a cheerful greeting. Brooks groaned as he watched the little drama play out in the airfield gate. "Look, friend, the Germans have him. If you wait any longer, they'll have us."
Huh, what are they going to do to us? We're just pilots and...
The co-pilot teared off as a revolver appeared in Brooks' hands as if by magic. Despite the fancy mother-of-pearl inlaid handle, the gunmetal of the pistol was a workmanlike bluish black. It was .38 caliber, and the co-pilot was any judge, but looked like a 5-inch howitzer as he stared down the muzzle only inches away from his face.
"You're going to fly now!"
Fritzer said flatly, from the other end of the hand cannon. Derek stared at the cartographer in shock. It was like as he was looking at a different man altogether. The nervous, shifty eyes were hard and cold. The hand Derek might have expected to shake like a leaf was barely wavering at all.
"You don't suit me, and we're not going."
The co-pilot's lips curled back in disgust. Growls defiant slowly, biting out every word.
"Not without Jerry."
"Here they come!" Daring announced urgently as he glanced out the cockpit's window. The mare stretched her wings. This wasn't going to be an easy fight, especially now she had to worry about Brooks and other non-combatants.
"Fine."
Sighing annoyance, Brooks pulled the pistol away and wheeled to the cockpit's open window. He aimed the weapon carefully, despite the futility of the gesture. The cartographer seriously intended fighting off nearly a platoon's worth of enemies with a single revolver? The pistol bucketed Brooks' hand as he squeezed the trigger. Across the airfield, a leather-clad man staggered and fell. The blood froze in Derry's veins as Brooks turned back to the co-pilot, aiming the smoky barrel's revolver back into horrified co-pilot's face.
"There! Now it seems that we're only waiting on you, right?"
A rifle bullet crashed through the side of the aircraft and shattered the window next to the co-pilot's head. With a cry of anguish, the man jerked into motion and started throwing switches. The plane bucked and started rolling forward as another smattering of rounds crashed through the air, tore through the cargo plane's fuselage. Finally, the plane leapt up the end of the airway and dropped. Derry's stomach lurched at the disoriented feeling of flight not under her own power. Through the plane's cracked windshield, she could see the craggy face of a mountain rising out of the darkness to meet them. They were going to crash. Suddenly, Derry D was pushed to the floor as the thin mountain air, caught under the metal wings of the aircraft, froze and banked, barely clearing the rocky crash as it soared up into the sky. The mare gulped, trying to hold down her nausea. A Pegasus? Airsick? She never lived it down. As the aircraft and its solitary pilot rose to the black expanse of the night sky, Derry turned to Brooks. Her stomach turned, for reasons that had nothing to do with the unnerving feeling of powered flight. The cartographer's calm face looked demonic in the green glow of the cockpit's instrument panel as he quickly pocketed the pearl-handled revolver and looked down at Daring Do. He just shot a man in cold blood.
"Brooks, Why did you do that?
Daring man asked, why? The cartographer echoed mockingly. He chuckled, the corners of his mouth twisting up into a sneer.
Evil! Evil! Implying evil!
Flint gaped at the oncoming cultist, his ears drooping and his tail between his legs. Pegasus ponies and griffins soared down, hooves and claws promising a painful and lingering death. The horns were already flaring on the heads of a smattering of unicorn pony cultists as rocks, spears, and even entire boulders lifted in the air, glowing with evil intent. The earth ponies and diamond dogs scowled and leapt forward, teeth flashing and snarls on the lips.
Indiana, what do we do?
Wailed the archaeologist's terrified companion. Indy laughed nervously and was gone.
Get in here, you dumb mutt! Run!
Dr. Jones said as he sprinted back to the inn compound. He in one panic looked back at the wave of brown road to murder coming his way. Flint bounded after the fleeing human. As soon as he reached the inn's gates, Flint slammed it shut, hammering the crossbar into place and leaning heavily on the planks.
Here, safe now. Wait, where's Indiana going?
The brown-furred creature was so relieved that Indiana felt almost ashamed to ask.
Flint, what is that gate going to do for the flying ones?
Oh.
Looking crestfallen, Flint lurched back into motion to follow the retreating archaeologist across the gravel courtyard.
What's going on?
Shrilled a mystified Pennywise from the doorway of the inn.
Nothing, Pennywise. Just those cultists you said.
A screech interrupted Indiana's retort. He whirled to confront a diving griffin as the creature screamed out of the blue. Whipping out his pistol, Indy aimed and fired. The late creature turned, careened towards one of the outlying buildings, crashing into the wall with a sickening thud.
Dark's just here!
A Pegasus pony slipped down, hot on the heels of the griffin. Pennywise skivered in terror. Indy took aim and fired again, swinging the creature out of the sky. Stumbling sideways as something heavy thudded into a glowing silver wall to his right. The shadow thorn of the third Pegasus slid out the shimmering barrier, leaving a red streak as it collapsed into the gravel of the inn's courtyard. The glowing wall suddenly dissolved into a cloud of improperly floating gravel that quickly dropped back to the ground. Indiana glanced back to see Silver Trowel, and so was planted firmly in his horn glowing silver. With well-used canvas saddlebags hanging over his back, the unicorn had clearly been interrupted in the moment of departure. The nimbus around Trowel's horn winked out, and he frowned at the broken body of the cultist at Indiana's feet. Ugh, all distasteful. The cultists are closer than I thought they were. Do you have any idea what that ruffian wants? Good question. On the far side of the wall, Starfire politely took that moment to answer it.
Pennywise, open the gates! We come to claim our own!
Innkeeper's blue eyes widened. He gaped at Indiana.
You stole from them?
Oh, sweet Celestia, I don't want to die! With a strangled cry, Pennywise wheeled and started galloping towards the gate. This is abruptly. A sharp crack split the air, and the pony was face first in the dirt, with legs lashed together, and Indiana passed his whip to Flint and transferred his pistol back to his right hand.
Make sure he doesn't move, Flint, or we're going to have more than we can handle.
The diamond dog nodded, and was on top of his employer in an instant. When the innkeeper wanted to struggle, Flint snarled,
No, not Mr. Pennywise. Mr. Pennywise, not my cultist in.
You stupid blameless mutt, let me go!
Managed the half-fattened pony. Diamond Dog's shouts fought as he shook his head emphatically.
No!
Let me up now, or you're fired!
The trap stallion wheezed.
Flint never liked working here anyway.
Flint retorted, looking hurt. As he sparked on Silver Trowel's horn, as he threw a cloud of stone skyward, sending several impatient winged cultists swerving off their unresolved fenders and back to the relatively safety of the far wall. His horn still glowing from the unicorn hissed. This is quite exciting, but I think every pony is forgetting that we're under attack!
You'll never outrun them. Let me go. Why should I die with all of you?
Pennywise begged. Flint growled and slammed the pony's head against the ground again. The innkeeper whimpered and pointed towards the south side of the inn compound with a shaking hoof.
Fine. Just take one of the boats and go. Go!
Last chance, Mr. Pennywise, called Starfire.
Come on, Flint. Let's go!
Indiana called, racing for the river with still a trowel. Flint tugged at the human's whip and followed, leaving the bare Pennywise to pick himself and limp slowly in the direction of the gate. The inn's small dock housed several wooden boats. After picking the least decrepit-looking of the lot, Indy threw his knife belt and slashed the mooring ropes on the others. The rushing current of the mountain river quickly overtook the boat downstream. This delayed any non-flying pursuit for a bit, at least. All three fugitives piled onto the remaining boat. Cyril Trout eyed his new traveling companion as Flint wordlessly handled the leather bullwhip back to his arm. I know it's a bit late for me to say this now, but I do hope you know what you're doing, Dr. Jones. Indiana simply grunted, cut the boat's mooring rope, and pushed off the dock. Placing himself in the middle of the craft, he grabbed the small sculls and began rowing. With the combined efforts of the mountain's river current and Indy's rowing, the boat quickly picked up speed. It wasn't fast enough. Looking up between the steadily rising walls of the cliff on either side of the river, Indiana could see the dark spots of the winged cultists in the sky. Indy stopped rowing for a moment and loosened his pistol, waiting for the inevitable attack. I wonder what they're up to. Silverjaw wondered aloud. Once against the Pegasus pony soared overhead and continued on. The winged seats flew a bit further down the valley and landed on the slopes. For a moment, everything seemed calm, until the little boat neared the spot where the cultists had landed. Thunder pealed overhead. No, it wasn't thunder. Topped close to the right bank, stones began to rain down. Soon boulders followed. Rocks crashed down the slopes and into the water, throwing up fountains of spray on one side to finally rock a boat. Flint howled in terror, holding on for dear life as water splashed over the gun walls and started filling the little watercraft.
Dr. Trout, you got magic. Can you do something?
Indy shouted over the near deafening rumble of the rock slides.
I'm trying, I assure you.
The unicorn swayed, trying to maintain his balance on the rocky boat.
Don't rock the boat. Baby, don't rock the boat. Don't turn the boat over.
The unicorn swayed. His horn blazed and acted like a torch, sending silver trindles in all directions. Some of the stones stopped falling momentarily. Silver Trout gritted his teeth and opened his eyes, that glowed almost as brightly as his horn. More rocks shifted their trajectories, suddenly diving away from the little boat and its striped passengers. Some of the boulders even rose, pulling and reversed back down the slopes. A booming roar rang through the river valley. Even its echoes were so loud, it could have been an artillery barrage. Flint moaned, covering his eyes with his paw as a huge mass of stones down the canyon ahead of them started a long, slow fall into the river. The rock slide crashed into the water, much too far ahead to be a threat to the boat or passengers. Most of the stones, even some as large as their car, were swept away by the vicious current before Indiana's companions floated anywhere near them. But one massive house-sized boulder crashed into the riverbed and stayed. The river threw a great space of foam as it thundered around the edges of the gigantic rock. It was directly in the little boat's path. Swearing, Indy worked desperately at the oars to bring the little craft around the edge of the sudden obstacle. But the current was far too strong and the boulder took up nearly the entire channel. Fighting to be heard over the roar of the rock slides, Indy sighed,
Brace yourselves! We're not gonna make it!
Silver Trout fumbled with the straps of one of his saddlebags, pulling out a dull gray stone with a thin silver chain. The unicorn used his matches to loop it around his neck and tighten the clasp.
Off you, Polly! Grab onto me! Quickly!
Eagerly responded to the voice of authority. Flint looped both arms around the unicorn's neck. Trout grimaced at the smell of wet dog, but stayed where he was.
You too, Diallo!
After one last desperate tug at the oars, Dr. Jones turned to see that they were only seconds away from striking the giant boulder. Quickly grabbed the unicorn. Wherever the current was going to wash them, they would at least get there together. Taking a deep breath, Silver Trout closed his eyes. The dull gray stone of the necklace around his neck started to glow. Indiana Jones glanced at it for a moment. Was far too busy watching the dark wall of the boulder as he rushed toward it. Indiana cringed, gritting his teeth against the expected impact. And reality took a holiday. The boat's prow hit the rock and simply kept going as though there was nothing there. In an instant, Flint passed through the rock's surface. Then Trowel, finally Indy felt the rock zip past him. It's a senseless morning fog. The darkness of the rock gave way to the brilliant sunlight. Dr. Jones stared back at the boulder. It looked every bit as solid as it had before they had passed through it. He looked back to Silver Trowel.
How?
A Maltic amulet, Trowel explained, patting the enchanted jewelry affectionately. Dear Celestia, don't let Silver Trowel turn out to be evil, I beg you. I like him. It's quite rare, but quite useful for an archaeologist like me. Gives me a few chances to escape a cave-in by simply floating right out.
If Silver Trowel makes us make rocks not hurt, why not use earlier?
Demanded Flint.
Flint's scared!
And, only has so many uses, my fine fellow. and you can let me go now. Trial pulled away from the diamond dog and looked up. It seems to be over. The unicorn was right. No more rocks seemed to falling at the moment. Pistol in hand, Indiana scanned the tall slopes. Nothing showed itself. Flint glanced around, ears swiveling this way and that as he asked,
Cult's that gone now?
Not sir. Indiana Jones suffered, still watching the heights. Had some kind of trick. Didn't make any sense that the cultists would simply stop their attack. Despite Silver Trial's efforts, it wasn't like the enemy Pegasus ponies or griffins were going to run out of rocks to push up the cliffs. Why would they? Oh no. Flint turned to look downstream, head cocked down in confusion.
What that sound? More rocks?
Let me guess. We're about to go over a raging waterfall. Yup. Sharp rocks at the bottom? Most likely. Bring it on.
Indy heard it too, an incessant rumbling sound like an approaching freight train. His heart sank, and quickly reholstered his pistol. With shaking hands, he grabbed the oars.
No, not rocks. Waterfall!
I hate my life! Hey, Celestial! Silver Trial groaned, pushing himself up from where he slept on the bottom boat. The flying falls will head right towards them! I hate to ask, but why are they called the Flying Falls?
Falls? Why Silver not say so sooner?
Flint moaned, emerald eyes growing wide in panic. I didn't think of it! Cried the pony, his voice nearly cracking with twin stresses of fatigue and growing terror. The road doesn't fall into the river along this part of the valley. Reaching his long arms over his side, the diamond dog began to splash fiercely against the raging river's flow. Flint beat into water for a moment, making much more noise, but no noticeable progress. Finally, he turned back to Silver Trowel.
Flint not strong enough, Silver. Use necklace.
That won't work. Mossick doesn't solve everything, you fool! Snapped the exhausted unicorn. Dr. Trowel turned to the silent passenger. Indiana Jones's knuckles were white as he gripped the oars, his arms working furiously. The unicorn begged, "Dr. Sims, I'm still too weak. Please tell me you have an idea." Indiana didn't answer. He was busy rowing, fighting against the current that had so recently seemed to be an ally. The mountain river was merciless, sending in ton after ton of flowing water downstream, dragging the watercraft and its headless passengers inexorably towards the falls. While he was supposed to have frantic effort, the archaeologist managed to edge the boat a few yards closer to shore. And then they went over the edge. Staring one's face, deaf in the face was not something that got easier with practice. With the mist and spray from the plunging river obscuring his vision, Indiana closed his eyes, screamed toward himself in her throat as the little boat dipped like a stone. The tip of the base of the waterfall seemed to go on forever, perhaps even too long. The plummeting fall almost felt like flying, and Indy could sense ghostly wings spreading on his back. Fluttering and fainting to arrest his descent, he could almost gasp the feeling of slipstream rushing through his non-existent feathers and mane. Things have ended by now. No fall took this long. With that realization, Indy's eyes snapped open. His already starting to summit reeled further. They were still plummeting, but a silver nimbus surrounded everything. Flight grasped something incomprehensible and shrill. Then they hit the water. Flame blossomed as Indiana's hands bounced against the gunwale of the boat, and everything went black.
Oh shit, I'm going to die. Well, Dad, I'm coming to join you. I'm not dead yet, son. I'm perfectly fine. Well, you're dead to me, Dad.
Oh, boo! Boo!